The distance that an object falls under the force of gravity is given by the formula d equals 1 half g t squared, where d is the distance that the object falls, g is acceleration due to gravity on a particular planet, and t is time. Distance and time can be measured in feet per seconds or meters per second, but t typically is expressed in seconds. Sometimes we need to solve equations like this for one of the variables that's not there. So for example, if I ask you to solve this particular equation for g, right, if I want g completely by itself, one of the things I might do is choose to multiply everything by 2 first to get rid of the fraction. So I might write 2 times d equals g and then t squared. And then if I'm solving for g, the next thing that I would do, you can see I'm multiplying g by t squared, so I'd simply divide both sides by t squared. So I could say 2 times d divided by t to the second power is g. If, on the other hand, I asked you to solve not for g, but I said solve for t. So I said I could say solve for t. Well, this is a terrible pen for this, but let's say just solve for t. I want this variable by itself. If we were going to do that, I would say probably I'd do the same thing first. I'd go ahead and I would probably multiply by 2 again, so I would get 2 times d equals g and then t squared, but then I would divide both sides by g, so that would give me 2 times d divided by g equals t squared, and then I would take the square root of both sides to get the principal root here. So I would divide by root 2, so that would give me, I would take the square root of 2, I'm sorry, I would take the square root of both sides or raise both sides to the 1 half power. So that would give me 2d over g, and then the square root of that, and that would equal 2. Now, of course, this is the principal root. I could also consider the negative of that because it could be plus or minus this value. But because we're talking about time here, I'm concerned with time in the future. So I would say t is probably the positive root of 2 times d divided by g.